All right, welcome along to the Rated RR podcast. We've got ACL royalty in the house today. ACL royalty, Raushan Roshan used to play in the competition, and Baihakki Khaizan, who recently represented Tampines Rovers in the AFC Champions League. Great to have both of you with us. Bye, first things first, must be great to be back with family, cleared quarantine and everything. How are you feeling?
Cannot explain much, man. I mean, throughout that 2 months, a lot of things happened within that 2 months. So, I felt that is the longest 2 months ever, traveling out. Um, it beats my time in Thailand as well, during those days, because I felt that I get to come back every once in a while. But this time around, 2 weeks, 2 months straight, but I'm really happy.
Bye. Let's go straight into the AFC Champions League. Could you just tell us what that experience was like in Tashkent?
Well, it was my first tournament, first time ever playing in the Champions League, which I've always been searching for in my career. And lucky enough that I get to join Tampines and go on board and play in this big competition. In Tashkent, everybody knows. It has been played. The result is out there. Honestly, I enjoyed myself. There's disappointment. There's a lot of disappointments, and also there's a lot of good points to take. But I don't always like to say that. Oh, there's always good points to take from that. We lost. We did poorly as in some occasion. But at the same time, we knew that overall. It's painful to say that we are going there just for the experience, but at the same time, deep in my heart, I still want to win something. So yeah, it's that mixed feeling. I guess both of you will understand that.
I can understand that.
Can I just ask you? Sorry, Bai. Can I just ask you something in line with that? You played national team, you played AFC Champions League. What do you think of the difference in the levels? Do you think is the AFC Champions League higher or international team higher from your experience?
I think these 2 months I get a bit of both. The earlier stage was in Saudi playing international games, the World Cup qualification, and followed by the Champions League as well. I can say it's almost similar. To be honest, it's almost similar. Maybe the slight edge have to go to the Champions League because of the foreign players that they had. In their respective teams. They give us a hard time. And yes, when you play against the likes of Saudi, Japan and stuff, they are all local players, but like I said, the foreign players give the extra edge.
And you understandably said it's not just about learning, you also want the result. But ultimately for Singapore, we are looking to make strides, and this will be part of the process, right, to learn. You were one of the senior players in the Tampines Rovers squad. In terms of youngsters, because Tampines does have a very young squad, any youngsters that stood out for you in terms of attitude, being away for so long and stuff like that?
Obviously, before I answer that question, I saw Madhu's interview with you guys. He felt like he's going for a school trip, which that's funny to say, but at the end of the day, we know that we are going into something serious. I also observed that, every time I look at these boys, I look at their faces, I pity them in a way because I don't know whether they have any idea what they are facing up against, like maybe they are just told to, okay, come, let's play against Gambang Saka, Jondo, and Shanghai, So I think Rosh, you can understand this, but to be honest, our 3 weeks there, I felt like it's like a BNP kind of thing. Like when you get together with everyone, you spend time. I don't even really get to sit down with most of the younger players in Tampines itself, in Singapore itself, getting to drink coffee with them or whatever. But during that 3 weeks, I can see, I can really see each of their personalities. At the same time, and let's go straight to the point here. Ryan Sanizar, I thought he had a very good outing.
Yep.
plus Mark Ryan Tan as well. For the rest of the boys, I think is they are happy to be there, but at the same time you can see shocking faces, like going into the stadium, first time looking at all this. When some of the senior players like, come on, this pitch can be better, and vice versa. So overall, if you ask me, yes, I'm pleased with the attitude throughout the journey. Yes.
Yeah, actually, I felt a little bit sorry for you guys, because when we got to play in it the last time, we got to travel to different stadiums and we got crowd, and we got fans in there. So that was completely different experience. So, I mean, still, as you said, it must have been wonderful for you guys to be over there. But you spoke about what was interesting for me is that you touched on the mood in the camp in the sense that you got to know each other a lot better because you're all in close quarters, essentially every day is with each other.
Exactly.
Coming back to the league action, how do you think that's going to help you guys, coming back into the SPL?
Well, I did told the boys I think with every 3 days in Tashkent we play big teams every 3 days. So indirectly we are getting the momentum that we suddenly we felt so good. We felt like we just want to keep on playing them again and again and again. It's, okay, we might not achieve the result, but I personally feel that if we play John Book 10 times, maybe one time we will beat them. I mean you will have that kind of feeling. So answering to your question, I guess that this is where each one of us have to realize that whatever that we have learned in Tashkent or in overseas, I think everyone knows that this is the time we need to come back and we need to show something. We need to be different. Maybe we can be a different team or a slightly a better team. I don't know. Maybe if anything better, I'm just happy that we evolve to be a better team. In terms of expectation for us to play, like suddenly we become Barcelona or we become Real Madrid. I mean, let's put that aside. But overall, it's an educational trip for these kids, for these players. So I hope in the long process that they learn from this Champions League. It's a very wonderful experience for them, and let's apply it to the league and let's be better versions of ourselves.
And speaking of the league, it doesn't get easy for you because you're going to restart your season against the Lion City Sailors on Sunday. Super Sunday clash. Yeah. I, as a fan, am so excited. What's the mood like in the camp? How are you guys feeling? Feeling the pressure, perhaps?
I mean, let's be fair here. We are only human, at the end of the day. We were so excited and just looking forward to come back to Singapore after Champions League. And these are not excuses, but I think the 2 weeks quarantine really a little bit give us a little bit of hard time, just to download back whatever our similarities. I think Rosh can understand this. Just
the rhythm, the flow a little bit.
Yeah, the rhythm, the flow, and everything. So I guess but I don't want to use that as a reason. We got back quickly. I think Gavin did a pretty good job in terms of organizing. We can do football training, but we did a lot of endurance training while being in quarantine. So now we are back in the pitch. Everybody, there's rusty days, yes, of course, the first few days. But now I think everybody is getting the momentum back, trying to download whatever we have done against the likes of Jombuk and Gamba.
Yeah. Okay, you mentioned Gavin there. You mentioned him doing a good job, and we've spoken to him as well in one of our earlier episodes of the show. What's it like for you? You're older than Gavin. There's a few of you, right? I think Madhu. Correct me if I'm wrong. Even Madhu is older than Gavin, just about. Then Bennett is in there. So what is it like for you being older than your coach? What's that relationship like?
Rush, to be honest, it's my first time, having a coach that is younger than me. Throughout my career, I have coaches they are like father figures. They are like they can become grandfathers also. And I mean, most of them have this like yelling and beast mode kind of effects in them. Yeah. I mean that's how I go through. The likes of Reddy, the likes of Sasha and Ben Stange and all these other coaches from other clubs.
For me, it was Lee Lim Seng.
Yeah, I think that's your version.
Yeah, that's my version.
So, yes, and suddenly I come to Tampines and this young guy somehow tried to calm me down and talk like friends, and I find it a bit difficult to adjust a little bit for a while, but after a while I think like football evolved, and there's a lot of younger managers nowadays around the globe as well. I think the way the approach of man managing every players, I think that is really coming into the game right now more, rather than shouting across and those hand raya treatments and all. So I think Gavin is going for that approach, and I mean the presentation and the coaching is pretty clear. He knows what he wants, and yeah, we do our best to execute it.
Bai, I just have a question. When you talk about joining Tampines Rovers and stuff like that, when you joined them, there was this rumor, I guess, going around that you played for free for a while. Obviously, now Lionel Messi has left Barcelona and people are saying, he should have played for free. But for you, were you actually playing for free?
Actually, kind of in a way, because because I personally I'm sponsored by Mizuno, so I think we have certain allowances here and there, just match bonuses here and there. I mean, nothing fancy, but to be honest, back then when I got back from Qatar, it was COVID period. It was circuit breaker. We sold our place in Singapore, and things are not going well. The future is it's not bright in Thailand. A lot of foreign players left just unnoticed and just to escape everything. But I thank my chairman back then. He's really super understanding guy. He said, "But if you want to be with your family, I can understand that. No worries. I mean, you can just sign off the papers and take your compensation and you can leave." I mean, that was what I really planned during the year 2020. It's going to be my last outing in overseas football. But sadly, it ended halfway through. I mean, not even halfway through, during April. So coming to Tampines, I mean, it's how should I put it? Like, it's kind of sad because you only have like 5 or 6 teams around. There's not much choice.
Yeah.
No one calls you. I mean, let's be frank here. And I don't know. Maybe I should put my hand up. Who wants to sign? So along the way, Tampines called Desmond called me and had a chat with Desmond and also Gavin. So things were pretty smooth, and I can understand their problem. It's always the financial side of stuff, and it's COVID. So we just get things around this. Get the best out of that situation, and for both parties. And going forward, we had an agreement. So I was pretty okay about that. Yeah.
Yeah. Turns out that it was a signing that worked out for both of you. As you mentioned, both parties benefited from it. And you look, where you are at your point in your career, you've got nothing to prove anymore. And I think it's been beneficial for Tampines to have a player like you in their squad. Baihakki, let's move over to the national team now. And when Coach Tatsuma first came in to the setup and you got that call up, you got that recall to the squad, were you sort of surprised to be a part of his plans?
To be honest, yes. Yes, I was. I mean, to be honest, I was surprised because knowing a Japanese culture guy, basically they will come and they will look at what's there, and I know he has been doing his homework, looking around players playing abroad and stuff. But at the same time, I have this mindset that I'm ready. If he were to call me up again. But this time around, he came. He traveled all the way down to Trat, and which my family doesn't My wife doesn't even been there before. So he's the first Singaporean to be in charge, together with Eric Ong, trying to bring me back into the national team. And I felt so honored, at one moment of my career, someone just, pay attention to you and just looking at your progress when nobody does. So I guess that's the moment where it's difficult for me to say no. I've always been vocal about things, but deep inside my heart, I always have this soft spot for the national team. So, I mean, leaving my 5-day-old newborn says it all. So, I'll try to give everything.
I think speaking to you, Bai, is really a reminder that yes, you are footballers, yes, you are in the public sphere, but ultimately you are human. You are a father at home, you're a husband, you are somebody's friend. And yeah, it's really some of the points that you bring up is fully warranted. Bai, I just want to ask you, in terms of going back into Tatsuma's squad, has your role then evolved now, your responsibilities evolved? Because now you are an older player in the squad. Does he expect different things from you?
Actually, we sat down. I think the best part about Tatsuma is we sat down, we talk openly. He's open for opinions, and he always tell me, he said, you must remember, you always have to get ready. You have always to get ready. There's someone at Irfan there. You have to guide them. And to be honest, since the day I turned 34 or 35, I've already accepted the reality that I'm going to be in that era, I'm going to be in that zone.
Pakcik, is it?
Being the tutor now. Yeah, maybe being the abang or what. So again, Tatsuma also keep telling me, he said, Bye, don't ever think that you are only being in that role. You will be needed when the time comes. So I was pretty surprised that, the second half of Palestine game, he immediately called and said, Bye, you're coming in. And I was like, okay, I know I can't do much. I'm not Ronaldo, I'm not Superman, but 3-0 down. Well, let's do something and just go out there and do my best. So I think the relation with Tatsuma, I believe every player have that that great bond between us.
Mike, can I quickly ask you? You mentioned you're a person who's quite vocal, and you're not afraid to air your opinions. What are your thoughts on Singapore football fan culture?
Singapore football fan culture, is it?
Yeah.
Well, if you ask me, okay, now let's be real now, right? Of course, everybody will keep, especially the older ones. I mean, I have people coming to me, football previously is better, 60,000 crowd. During the Malaysia Cup days are better. Today is very slow, this and that, blah blah blah. There's not a lot of people coming to the stadium, there's not much interest. But at the end of the day, gosh, we should look at the time where I can't blame them totally, so much that I want them to believe us, support us, trust us. But at the same time, I know this is a process which these people won't, they either they won't accept or maybe they won't understand, because most of them, they want instant, the instant
success, instant results. Yes.
Instant result.
Yeah.
They just want to see something. Okay, Singapore play against what? Okay, they're just hoping that it's 2-0 Singapore win, 3-0 Singapore win. But the inner detail of it, we are at a place where we are transitioning, and so it's so sad that along the way now, for quite some time now, we have not been winning anything yet. I felt the pinch as well. I mean, being that's how you can put it. I'm a abang in the team. Maybe I don't play so much. I'm just guiding the team, but so much I felt that pinch as well. I want to win something. Going into Saudi as well, I thought that let's beat Palestine. Let's try to beat Saudi. Not to go there with the mentality of participating, but go there with the mentality of competing.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a very long process. It's it can be tiring explaining to them. At the same time, for these people as well. And what more does EPL, Champions League, or just with the switch of a remote, and they can enjoy quality football. So I mean, we are in no space to compete with whatever they're gonna say.
Yeah.
So much that we must accept it, and let's just do our best and slowly progress from there. I mean, that's the best we can do right now.
But you speak about Champions League, you spoke about Premier League, but just across our border, JDT are doing so well. You obviously played for JDT. You know TMJ personally. Do you think somehow it's a bit hard for me not to be jealous of their progress? But do you think somehow that's the sort of figure Singapore football lacks? Because if we had a TMJ, for example, that will be the driving factor to push us forward.
Exactly, bro. For me, despite all these results, okay, what okay, we were whacked in Champions League, we were whacked in the national team. How Singapore football going to be in the future, and all these questions coming up. At the end of the day, we are just so good at blaming and pointing fingers. Maybe some of us will point the association, some of us will point to the players. But I think being in the middle person right now, I guess it is a both way thing, Number one, if we blame the FA, why we don't follow JDT, why we are not this, why we are not that. At the same time, if we do that, will the player progress? Will the player do exactly to what it is? Like for example now, like City Sailors. I mean, it's a very good example. Like City Sailors now they are really showing now. Okay, you talk about salary, I'm providing it. You are talking about facilities, I'm providing it. So now let's see. So now this pressure immediately now apply to all these players now currently in like City Sailors. So in a way, it's a good thing. It's something new. It's a new pressure that they must adjust into their body, which I've seen Haris interview. It's a daily thing, bro. In JDT, every day you feel like there's a sniper laser at your forehead. That's how it is. That's how it is. I mean, despite TMJ is brilliant individual, very long-sighted person. He can be your friend, he can be your boss. I mean, he talks openly, very nice. But he draws the line pretty well. Damn well. He draws the line. So no one just go around and thinking that they will stay long for good. You gotta do your job, man. I mean, that's how it is. So I think this is the part where we need to be clear with ourselves. The country, as a country, if we want to push football as a whole, then everything else need to fall apart together, and and players as well have to do their part. It's not only one man show, I guess.
Okay, Bai, you've been fantastic with us with some of these answers, and I agree with a lot of what you're saying. One last thing before we let you go, and this is about yourself and your reflection. And if you look back on your career so far, what would the Baihakki now, who's grown through all these years, say to the Baihakki from 15 years ago, let's say?
Okay. I don't know.
I think it's the hardest question we've asked him.
I just jumble up a bit here and there. I think I'm the naive Baihakki last time. I kind of react quickly when things don't go my way. I don't think as much as now I am. I think I'm more calmer now. In terms of along the way, I felt lucky, I guess, getting to play abroad around the region. Although my dream league is to play in J League, that's my dream league. Actually. Yeah. Not the Premier League, not the Spanish league. It's only J League. So
you can still try, man. King Kazu is playing until he's 50, so you can still try.
I hope, man. I hope. But bro, this is reality, right? Now you say I can. The 4 kids are looking at me, Baby, don't do it. So again, guys, I not to say that I'm proud, but I think I'm pretty lucky. I appreciate all this while during my career. I get to witness a lot of things, a lot of different cultures, different football. So the only, I guess, if you want to say about regrets, I don't think I have Well, there are regrets. Everybody has regrets, but let's not look at the regrets. Let's look at what we can be better. Next going forward. So yeah, I hope I can summarize that in short life.
Fantastic. Baihakki Khaizan, it's been so good to speak to you. Thank you so much for being generous with your time and with your opinions. We've really enjoyed it. Thank you, bye.
No worries, man. No worries.